I'd had a contract to be teammate to Ayrton Senna, and that we would have equal #1 status. So for me, I was excited because we had this young Brazilian. He looked super fast. He looked like somebody I'd like to be a teammate with, because obviously you always think that you are faster than your teammate. Up until that point, I never really had a teammate that really troubled me. You know, I was always on the upper side of qualifying and race and points. So I was looking forward to the challenge. I'd signed my contract, and then around the end of December, I was called to Lotus. I thought for them to sign the contract and to pay me the sign-on fee. And when I arrived at Lotus, I could feel something wasn't quite right. Everybody was a little bit embarrassed, almost. And I got called to the office and sat down, and they said, "Oh, well, you know, we're very sorry, but we're not going to sign the contract." That Ayrton thought that I would be too much of a distraction for the team. British driver, British team. He didn't think that the team could run 2 #1 cars. He wanted the spare car 100% for him. He wanted to be #1 in the team. He put big pressure on the sponsor for me to be taken away from the team, and he wanted a #2. He even said that I would be prepared to be #2, but still Ayrton didn't want me in the team. He didn't want me in the team, I think, because he could see me as a threat. He was the young driver coming through, and he wanted to keep that momentum. I'm not saying that I would be quicker than Ayrton Senna, but I'm saying that Ayrton Senna thought that I would be a problem for him. So I was left without a drive. The British press completely supported me and really gave Ayrton a hard time in the press, but Ayrton didn't care. Ayrton was only cared about Ayrton. In order to be a successful racing driver, a successful businessman, a success in most things, to be an ultimate success, I mean a legend, a phenomenal success, you have to be really selfish. And I think what that taught me was Ayrton Senna had realised that Lotus couldn't run 2 #1 cars, and he was right. And if he wanted the best for Ayrton Senna, he had to get rid of Warwick. And I think that when I look back now, I don't blame him at all. He did what was best for Ayrton Senna, not what was best for Warwick. And I think that was a pretty big decision for him as well. I went to the medical centre to obviously see my teammate, and Ayrton was already there. Ayrton cared. He really cared about other drivers. He was emotionally involved with what happened. He was crying, he had tears, and he was emotionally charged. And that was strange for me, because I thought Ayrton was hard. I thought he was harsh. I thought he was beyond that kind of emotion, but the emotion was just pouring out of his body. Ayrton on the circuit, he was always blipping the throttle. He was always keeping the turbo spinning, so to give himself maximum power when he wanted it. And that's why I always said he was the master of the turbo, because nobody else really drove. Everybody else tried to drive a turbo in anticipating the lag, but Ayrton found a way of bypassing the lag by blipping the throttle and keeping the turbo spinning. In the dry, it's easy. You know, when you're pushing the car to the limit, you know where the limit of the car is to within 0.5%. But more difficult in the wet, because if you go within 0.5%, it's very easy to drive over and then crash or spin out. But Ayrton had this ability of finding the maximum in the wet, and that was special. There's no way that car should have won that race. No way that Ayrton won that race.